BJP camp, Prime Minister Modi meets Amit Shah after UP BJP chief Bhupendra Chaudhary. Sources say big rejig planned, but no talks of Chief Minister change. Setback for Ajit Pawar NCP camp in Maharashtra. 4 leaders of Ajit faction resign, join Sharad Pawar faction over ticket fallout. Big war over Sidhu Sarkara's Kannadiga quota bill. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah deletes 100% reservation tweet. Congress Netas, allies, top business honchos condemn move. Valmiki scam heat mounts on Sidhu Sarkara. Enforcement watchdog detains former Mantri Nagendra's wife. The Neta and his wife's bank accounts under ED scanner now. After Raya's fraud Pooja, her father now under corruption radar. Pooja claims harassment by district collector, files complaint. Chief Minister Shinde remains tight-lipped. Big Agniveer boost in Haryana. Government announces 10% reservation in police mining guard recruitment. Age limit relaxed by 3 years. The latest in the liquor gate alleged scam. CBI claims Delhi Chief Minister deliberately tweaked excise policy. Delhi High Court reserves order on Arvind Kejriwal challenging CBI arrest. Meanwhile, just months ahead of the crucial state polls in the big state of Maharashtra, four top leaders of the Ajit Pawar camp have now jumped ship to the Sharad Pawar NCP, delivering a big blow to the Mahayuti alliance. The Sharad Pawar camp calls this move vindication, while the RSS mouthpiece, and it's interesting here, pins the blame on the BJP NCP tie-up for the Lok Sabha poll debacle. Is this the latest development on the ongoing and a big dent to the Ajit Pawar faction, all of it coming 2 months before polls?
Rumbling in Maharashtra's ruling Mahayuti just months ahead of the assembly polls. This time, a mutiny in Ajit Pawar's NCP over assembly poll tickets. Denied tickets for Bhosari's seat despite hectic lobbying, 4 senior leaders of Ajit Pawar NCP jumped ship and joined Sharad Pawar faction. The turncoats include Pimpri Chinchwad Unit Chief Ajit Gawane, a student unit chief and 2 sitting corporators.
2017 से यहाँ पे पिंपरी चिंचवड में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की यहाँ पे पीसीएमसी में उनका जो रूलिंग वो कर रहे हैं, तो उस वक्त से पीसीएमसी में जो डेवलपमेंट हुई है वो गलत तरीके से यहाँ पे भ्रष्टाचार भी बहुत हुआ है और इसके लिए जिम्मेदार यहाँ के जो सिटिंग एमएलए है वो इसके लिए जिम्मेदार है.
The Sharad camp welcomed the rebels and termed it a vindication of Sharad Pawar's leadership.
आदरणीय पवार साहेब महाराष्ट्राच्या आणि देशाच्या राजकारणात कार्यरत आहेत आणि त्यांच्या नेतृत्वावर फक्त आमचाही विश्वास तर आहेच, सामान्य मायबाप जनतेने तर साथ दिलीच आहे, आशीर्वाद दिलेला आहे, पण काही विरोधकही आज आदरणीय पवार साहेबांकडेच अपेक्षेने बघतात. याच्यातच सगळ्या प्रश्नांची उत्तर.
Meanwhile, RSS mouthpiece blamed BJP's tie-up with the NCP for the Lok Sabha poll debacle. The RSS organ said that voters found the alliance unnatural.
अब आरएसएस ने जो एक भूमिका ली है अजीत पवार के बारे में, उस बारे में जो अंतिम फैसला है वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेतृत्व को लेना है, हमको नहीं लेना है. तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का नेतृत्व आरएसएस और आपस का जो विषय है उसको सॉल्व करे और अजीत पवार के लिए आगे क्या करना है वो उनका एक अंतिम निर्णय हो सकता है. उस बारे में वो एक फैसला कर सकते हैं.
हमारे कैंडिडेट को
Pimpri Chinchwad is considered Ajit Pawar's stronghold. Will the dissent spell trouble for him in upcoming polls? Bureau Report, India Today.
So lots going on in the state of Maharashtra, and all of it coming together, viewers, just 2 months short of state elections in the state. Joining me for a deep dive on all the politics churning in Maharashtra is our consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai, as well as our Mumbai Bureau Chief Sahil Joshi. But Rajdeep, beginning with you, there seems to be, at least today, a reverse power play in Maharashtra. Till now, we saw the defection from Sharad Pawar camp, but now it seems Sharad Pawar basically pulling in from the NCP Ajit Pawar camp. Moreover, the RSS also being quite vocal on why the BJP should not have aligned on what it calls an inorganic alliance with Ajit Pawar.
Well, thank you very much, Preeti. Yes, it's interesting. 3 months to go for the elections, and it's clear that the Ajit Pawar factor is swirling around Maharashtra's politics, particularly because there is a large section within the BJP and the wider Sangh Parivar that believes that the tie-up with Ajit Pawar is one of the factors that was responsible for the dismal performance of the BJP in this election, that the BJP cadres were unwilling to work with the NCP of Ajit Pawar, that here is the individual who was targeted by them as being corrupt, and therefore it just wasn't working on the ground. So the BJP looking in some way to distance itself from Ajit Pawar, but yet not sure just how far they can go. Meanwhile, a section of Ajit Pawar's loyalists are actually reaching out to Sharad Pawar. You'll have a few joining from Pimpri Chinchwad, which is part of Ajit Pawar's sort of dominant area around Pune, who are likely to join the Sharad Pawar camp in a couple of days. So there's a sense that the Ajit Pawar faction at the moment is perhaps the most vulnerable piece in Maharashtra's chess game at the moment.
All right, Rajdeep, stay with me. Joining me is also Sahil Joshi, our colleague from Mumbai. Sahil, of course, all of this comes in 2 months before election. Rajdeep, that's also, question that I'm going to come and ask you, and how is this churning going to actually play out? How will the dust settle? But Sahil, is there a sense that Ajit Pawar could actually get isolated?
I couldn't hear your question.
Sahil, is there a sense that Ajit Pawar could politically get isolated? Because word coming in, Sharad Pawar is okay to take everybody else back, but not Ajit Pawar.
Well, I think this is just a beginning, because right now the seat sharing talks within Mahayuti have not begun. But, there is kind of a perception within Mahayuti that at least those seats which the respective parties have already won, and the incumbent MLAs are already with those parties, those seats will stay with those respective parties. Say, for an example, BJP will have 105 minimum seats in their kitty, Shinde will have 40, as well as Ajit Pawar will have 40 in their kitty, and over and above, then there will be a seat distribution in the Mahayuti. So now, say for example, in today's case, the leaders who have defected from NCP Ajit Pawar to Sharad Pawar's camp are from the Pune's Pimpri Chinchwad area. This particular constituency where the BJP already has an existing MLA. So obviously the leaders who switched over to NCP Sharad Pawar, they had thought that their political journey may stop because that particular seat will not be given to NCP Ajit Pawar, because the BJP already has an existing MLA from this particular constituency. So they are looking for a political option and obviously opting for NCP SP, because it is more likely that NCP SP may claim this particular seat when the Mahavikas Aghadi will sit for a seat distribution talks within themselves. So this is just a beginning. So, we will have to wait and see how this unfolds, because as and all, the seat sharing talks will begin. Then the picture will be clear. What we saw also in the Lok Sabha elections, that at least 3 of the people from NCP SP who have got elected now to the Lok Sabha were earlier with NCP AP. In that particular constituency, they were wanting to contest election for the Lok Sabha, and when they realized that the seat has been given to the BJP, because BJP had an existing member of parliament from that particular seat, they switched over to NCP SP. So this game had just begun. And, slowly what we will see, what will unfold in the future, because there will be 6 parties claiming on various seats. There will be multiple aspirants to contest for that particular assembly seats.
Right.
So there will be a lot of switchover which will be going on for.
So it's game on.
For
I'm going to come right back, but Rajdeep, to pull you in again, taking off from what Sahil says, this is just the beginning. The dust is going to settle, but it needs to settle soon. Because 2 months on, Maharashtra is in for state elections.
Look, I think as we saw in the Lok Sabha elections, Maharashtra is about both arithmetic and chemistry. You've got two very large alliances, the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi and the Mahayuti, but both are essentially running on three wheels. And one of the wheels at the moment, as I said earlier, which is vulnerable, is that of Ajit Pawar. And to that extent, that's because of the chemistry that simply doesn't exist on the ground. The BJP is not sure, though, that should they drive Ajit Pawar once again into the lap of his uncle. Sharad Pawar, sources close to him, say he doesn't want to take Ajit Pawar at this stage. If at all, he may take certain MLAs close to him who he believes can actually win elections in Maharashtra. But the churning is continuing because what we've seen in Maharashtra are essentially, Preeti, unreal alliances that have been built over the last couple of years, and slowly the wheels are coming off ahead of those elections.
How do you see it pan out, Sahil? Because this is what's happening in the NCP faction. Though you have the Eknath Shinde faction, which has been able to pull it together for 7 seats in Lok Sabha. But would you see closer to elections, defections there as well?
Well, there will be defections from all the sides. It's not only particularly from Shinde to Uddhav Thackeray. Particularly the particular MLAs will definitely, because the Lok Sabha results are already out. We already know that in which assembly segment, which alliance is leading at this point of time. And depending on that, there will be multiple defections. But it looks like that there will be more defections from NCP AP side to NCP Sharad Pawar side rather than from Shinde's side, because Shinde somehow has managed to retain at least 7 seats in Lok Sabha, and most of the MLAs have realized that if the BJP is on their side, the chances of winnability in the assembly elections will be higher. So the strike rate of Eknath Shinde has been much better than that of Ajit Pawar or that of the BJP as well. So we'll see more people moving from NCP AP side to NCP Sharad Pawar side.
Sahil, before I go into our next story, a very quick question. How is it being taken in, especially where the local unit of the BJP is concerned, or even the Ajit Pawar faction, where the RSS publication clearly says it was a wrong move to ally with Ajit Pawar, not just in the state of Maharashtra, but the messaging outside, across India, was all wrong.
Preeti, interestingly, the article which you are mentioning about where it has specifically mentioned that taking Ajit Pawar is completely no in Maharashtra politics, especially for the BJP, and it was a wrong move before Lok Sabha because it affected adversely on the BJP's performance in Maharashtra. Interestingly, this article is titled that what the political party worker, the BJP worker, thinks. Is he lost? Is he disheartened, or he thinks that he is not understanding what is happening around in the Maharashtra's political scenario at this point of time. So basically, the article clearly says that what the political BJP's workers are feeling after Lok Sabha election results, or even before that. What it looks like is that there is a big gap between what the political class of the BJP thinks and what the BJP's ground level political worker thinks about the political situation in Maharashtra. The political class or the political leadership or the high command, what we can call in the language of politics, they are looking at the arithmetic, whereas the political worker of the BJP, the ground level worker, is looking for the ideology, is looking for something which he can convince to his voters, and that is where this gap is emerging, specifically when it comes to Ajit Pawar and his colleagues in NCP.
All right, Sahil, appreciate you joining us. Rajdeep as well there. Thank you both. We're going to continue to come back to you for all the latest updates on what is going on in Maharashtra, just 2 months away from state elections, viewers. But let's cut across right now to the state of Karnataka, and bizarre things are going on in Karnataka. The Karnataka cabinet has okayed a quota bill for Kannadigas. The Siddaramaiah government in Karnataka has passed a bill mandating significant job reservations for Kannadigas with up to 50% of management positions and 75% of non-management positions reserved for domicile locals. According to the bill, locals benefiting from this reservation must be proficient in speaking, reading and writing Kannada. Furthermore, if organizations cannot find qualified candidates, they are required to train professionals within 3 years. No compliance could result in fines up to 25,000 rupees. The big question, of course, will this drive away corporates right now? Listen in.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಸ್ವಾಭಿಮಾನವನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನಾವು ಖಾಸಗಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹಾಕುವಂತ ವಿಚಾರ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಂಗಡಿಗಳ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನು ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ವಿಚಾರ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಧ್ವಜ ಬಳಕೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಭಾಷೆ ಬಳಕೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡತಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಕಡ್ಡಾಯವಾಗಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸೆ. ಆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ತೀರ್ಮಾನವನ್ನ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದೆ.
No, see, a reservation is required for local people, no doubt about that. Wherever possible, they should give the reservation. Maybe technical aspect, if anything is there, which they need some qualification, some skill develop they need, then maybe we cannot force for that to be given to the local if we don't have that kind of people ready to take that job. That is fair enough, that is. But technically we can't enforce on any organization to take them if it is they are not technically qualified for that.
Every next day they come out with these kind of dramatic bills, just want to cover up. They are all the scandal, whatever scandals, whatever the loot, whatever the allegations they have been facing, they just want to cover up with all these kind of dramas. We have a lot of talent. All these things can be addressed very strongly through the employment exchange, which they are not doing it. Only just trying to disrupt the entire ecosystem of the Karnataka. It is something doing against the interest of Karnataka. They are not doing good for the Karnataka. They are just acting against the interest of Karnataka.
All right, the latest news break coming in after the Karnataka job quota bill. Other states have invited Karnataka industries. Andhra and Kerala have asked Karnataka industries to switch states. Nara Lokesh tells NASSCOM, relocate to Vizag. Kerala Minister, talent and merit is our only criteria. And viewers, this is what I was pointing at earlier, because this will now only dissuade corporates, many of them based in the state of Karnataka. Joining me right now is Naga Arjun Dwarakanath, live from Bengaluru. Naga, at one end, the BJP maintaining that all of this is just theatrics to put the focus away from the heat being generated by the alleged scams that the government is facing. On the other hand, corporates are very vocal that this could be the death knell if this bill actually goes through and comes into force.
Well, the government is of a version that this is not completely enforceable. We can also have conversation with the industry sector and also the experts, and we can make amendments. But the sentiment remains the same across political parties that Kannadigas have to be accommodated, because in the last 20 to 25 years after the IT boom, less and less of Kannadigas have got into prime jobs is what the sentiment is. And Preeti, if you come down to Bangalore, you will also realize that a lot of Kannadigas are not getting jobs in terms of the prime jobs, because there are a lot of immigration and influx. That's the notion that the government also is playing on to. Now that the draft bill is passed by the cabinet, BJP is saying this is just a diversion tactics to move away from the Muda scam as well as the Valmiki scam as well. But the government is saying we will sit with the industry experts and also make amendments. We want to take everyone into confidence. This is not we are forcefully putting it in place, but also look at the practical problems. Look at 100 years later, what would happen to the whole ethnicity of Kannadiga and Karnataka. That's the futuristic ideology that we have, is what the government is saying. But we'll have to wait and watch if the bill will be tabled in this assembly or maybe rolled back as well.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Naga. We're going to come back to you for more updates on that story. With that, quickly shifting focus on what's going down in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Rumblings in UP BJP now out in the open after several party leaders voiced their concerns about functioning of government and perceived neglect of party workers. UP BJP chief met the Prime Minister. Sources tell India Today that there is no discussion over change of UP CM and that there could be a big jig in the UP BJP unit. Sources hint at a cabinet reshuffle in UP. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also held a key meeting with ministers to discuss by-polls. As per sources, discussions were held with leaders to reduce friction between organisation and the UP government. Sources say JP Nadda instructed leaders to not make statements which may harm the party's interest. A message has been given to keep up the party united image. News coming in right now on the story. Latest news break that is coming in from Uttar Pradesh. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has met the UP Governor Anandiben Patel, and Yogi has invited the Governor for the UP Monsoon Assembly session. Lots going on, but this is a protocol visit, an SOP of sorts. And these visuals that we're going to show to you coming in right now, where Yogi Adityanath meeting Anandiben Patel, the Governor of Uttar Pradesh. The more details coming in on the Prime Minister Modi Amit Shah meeting, which has ended. The Modi Shah meeting ended about lasted 2 hours. Chief Minister Yogi meets UP Governor as well. Lots going on. And that's cut across right now to our reporters on ground getting us the latest, because viewers, there's been meetings after meetings. Let me give you perspective. Yesterday, you had Mr. JP Nadda, who went ahead and first met, who's said to be disgruntled and not too happy with the incumbent chief minister, his own deputy, Keshav Prasad Maurya. The second meeting that JP Nadda, the party president, had was with Bhupendra Chaudhary, who's the state in charge of Uttar Pradesh. And then this morning, you had Yogi Adityanath, who held his own cabinet meeting, stock taking of what went wrong during the Lok Sabha elections. Right after that, you had Bhupendra Chaudhary, who is the state chief in charge, who met Amit Shah. And then you had Amit Shah, who went and met Bhupendra Chaudhary, who met the Prime Minister. And then you had Amit Shah, who went and met the Prime Minister. That meeting has ended just now. And on the other hand, you had Yogi Adityanath, who met the Governor, Anandiben Patel of Uttar Pradesh. Well, that is a protocol meeting, viewers. The monsoon session is to begin in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and you've had the Chief Minister inviting the UP Governor to attend the monsoon session. All right, we're going to cut across to my colleague Himanshu Mishra, who's going to be joining us right outside the Prime Minister's residence. Viewers, many suggest if the Prime Minister is involved, is a lot at stake. Sources tell us that there is a lot of churning that will be taking place in the UP state unit. There could be a reshuffle in the cabinet. Many new ministers could be inducted. On the other account, the state chief, right now, Bhupendra Chaudhary has been the state chief of Uttar Pradesh, who managed the party through the elections where Lok Sabha is concerned. That position could also be changed. Uttar Pradesh turned out to be a huge shocker for the Bharatiya Janata Party, where they got just 33 of 80 seats. Even with their allies, they reached just the 36 mark. And if you look at it last year, that stood at 62 of 80 and was well in the 70s in 2014. The Uttar Pradesh BJP unit was hoping that that figure would have reverted to 2014, but was halved to 33. I want to cut across to Samarth Srivastava first, getting us more, and then we'll cut across to Himanshu as well. Samarth, what more can you add of all that's going on in Uttar Pradesh? Meetings after meetings, is peace going to be brokered, or we're going to see what we have in the last 24 hours split wide open?
See, Preeti, it all started with the state executive meeting that happened in Lucknow, where Keshav Prasad Maurya clearly said that Sangathan, that means the cadre, is greater than the party. And since then, this debate is on. And he also stated that your pain is my pain. The bigger question is, in what pain the Deputy CM of Uttar Pradesh is, that there is no solution of it since last 7-8 years. And where he's saying this at a point, at a platform where CM Yogi is already present. So, and also he, in a way, he says that your pain is my pain. That means the BJP, the workers of BJP are also in pain. Then what is that pain? Actually, that pain is the administration, the bureaucracy. That's what Keshav Prasad Maurya tries to tell the BJP workers. And after that statement, we see statements coming from various MLAs, MPs, and then a series of meetings. Currently, Yogi Adityanath is meeting the UP governor right inside the governor house.